welcome one and all, B-boys and B-girls, and also non-break dancers, because we're a very accepting and understanding pair of lads, to Podcast on Fire Rejected Material, Episode 1. No, this is the premiere episode of the Lager Logs, Pints of View with Tom and Stu. I'm Tom, he's Stu. Say hello, Stu.
Hello.
That's good enough. That's good. We
Yes.
don't want any more for now. That's okay. As I say, this is the pilot episode, so make sure to clap when you see the red light. And obviously utilize the piss bags we handed out earlier, so you don't have to whiz off to the restroom and miss any of the good stuff we got lined up for you. This is the superhero origin show, so prepared for stories of radioactive beer taps, family members getting shotted down in the street. See what I did there? Changed it a little bit. And alcoholic young boys from distant planets who get pissed on farms. So Stu, how do you feel? How do you feel? Not taking into account what was just said, just in general, just in life, mentally, physically.
I'm hyped. That's it. Just that introduction is like, there's nothing that could stop us now. Unless
rocket fuel for you.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's like about 15 cans of Iron Brew, just right into the system.
If our rocket fuel comes in the form of a cheap Thai lager, then definitely.
Honestly, we got a great show, guys. Do you know what? I think I'm thirsty, you're thirsty. Let's break into the first brewski. Let's go over it, and then we can get straight into the origin, the genesis, whatever you like to call it. I prefer the Phil Collins years over Peter Gabriel, but that's fine. We get to that later as well. First beer tonight, guys. We've got Chang. Here we are, and we're holding it up. You can't see this, but I'm holding it up. I hope my neighbours can see this. She was doing it as well. That's a big boy. Did you get a bigger one than me?
Nah, it's forced perspective. I'm just doing some Peter Jackson shit. Yeah, 320 mil.
Oh, okay. That's all right. Jeez. I thought you didn't want to spend
This
any...
bottle's really close, and the other far away.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yes.
You just wanted to spend, less quality time with me, so you just get really pissed up while I was
plan
chilling.
to check out a lot sooner than you.
I was, planning to tell people the nuances of Chang beer while you're just wasted in the background. Right, let's crack these bad boys open. Are you using your teeth, or what are you doing?
No, I'm not one of those psychos that could
Okay.
open bottles with their teeth and
That's all right. I thought you were.
smiling with wrecked gums.
I mean, I've been unable to do it ever since I had my circumcision. It was a party trick of mine before. But we'll leave that for a later episode to get into the details.
Is that why, how those piercings come in handy?
Yeah, very handy indeed. It depends on, what you have on there, but a bottle opener comes in, really handy. Army knife, screwdriver. It's good for all situations, to be honest.
Just fucking tell me about the beer.
Right, so let's first sippage. Shall we do that?
Cheers.
Cheers, mate.
I think that's the surprising thing about Chang. It isn't half bad.
It's not. You've taken the words right out of my backing lips. Yeah, man, it's good. It's got a bit more balls than I was expecting.
Wait, I didn't see that ingredient on there. There's hops, but it's definitely, man. I was like, are we going to be one of these shows where it's definitely got a light crispiness going.
We can do that. We can do that if you want to. We can do. Let's I'll give you a little bit of backstory to it. Chang, here we are. First beer of the show. This is a very important event. I don't think we could have picked a better beer, or a more expensive beer for the show. I know both you and me are now bankrupt after I shopped at Home Bargains. But yeah, one of Thailand's #1 brewskis. This is a pale lager. It is the fastest growing beer over there since its launch in '95. So I thought it was a bit older than that. But that's only 25 years old. So
how did it take like that many seconds for the maths?
I didn't have my watch. I didn't have my watch on, unfortunately, so I couldn't work that out. This is 5.0%, but the domestic version is a lot stronger. It's 6.4%.
Right.
I gotta say, I've had this very rarely, but it goes down perfectly with some pad thai. If you're out having something nice to eat, I think it goes, really well with it. I think I prefer Singer I find that
All
a
right.
tad more crisper. That's the other Thai brewski that I'm
Right.
familiar with.
I have not seen that.
Yeah, mostly just. I don't think I've seen that kind of out and about shopping, but I have seen it in restaurants. But that's kind of. I think there's three major ones, and that's kind of one of the main three, along with Chang. But I think it's a bit older, a bit more kind of maybe well known. But I do like it, as I say again, for like a good session. You can definitely put down, 10 or 15 of them easily.
Yeah, that's it. It's not, as you said, it's not too bitter. It's kind of like a nice starter.
Yeah, it's not as harsh as I think some
Mm.
English beers. It's maybe somewhere in the middle between American beer and an English one in terms of. Oh, I say English, so I should say kind of European beers like Stella and things like that seem a bit more kind of harsher in terms of the back taste, whereas this is just like smoothie silk. But it's not as kind of light as some of the American beers,
Yeah,
I would say. But it's nice out of the bottle. Mine's been chilling in the fridge for about 4 hours, so it is
yeah. Mine's more or less was the
very
same.
drinkable.
I was
Very
gonna say,
drinkable.
pardon me. There you go. First riff.
That's disgusting.
We'll edit in. I'll make that. I'll take the decibels down on that.
That's good.
But
Then you can put that in the outtakes at the end.
so obviously, with this being like our origin episode,
Yes,
what could we kind of say is the goal of the show?
we're going into goals, are we? Well, what are we aiming for? Do you know what? Just to have a darn good time. And I think that's kind of what everyone is aiming for.
When you
To be
tune
honest,
into a
like no, I
podcast.
think yeah, of
Mm,
course. What else would you
mm.
tune in for? I think we're kind of going for hopefully a show that people can download. If you want to
That's a
listen to
good
it, that's
start.
fine. If you want to download it, that's okay.
Mm.
That's good. It's a good start to things. If you want to listen to it, that's good as well. But yeah, no, we I think the goals part goes well with the origin story of
Mhm.
how this happened, how we came to be. Let's go down that route. I think that'd be a good
Yeah,
route. And we
go
can kind
for
of
it.
hit the goals as we go. So, I mean, if we get into it, quite quickly, me and Stu have been good mates for about 10 years now. And I've loved every minute of it personally. I don't know how you feel, but that's how I feel. I'm not scared to say it. Do you know what I mean? I've had half a Chang, so
Hmm.
I'm ready to just pour it all out. And I've been in Birmingham, England, not Alabama. It's with a G for that decade. Geez, that makes me feel old. Stu has been in Fife, Scotland.
Hmm.
And yeah, I did my first episode for Podcast on Fire in 2011, which, for those who don't know, is the number one Asian cinema podcast in the land. It's Asian cinema in a podcast.
That's it.
There he is. Took the
Hmm.
words right out of your mouth there. I knew you were going to say that. And Stu was one of the co-founders, or would you say the
Yes.
founder? You say the
Aye, I kind
founder.
of came up with the
The
idea.
founder.
Started it,
A few years
and
before that,
then
2008, was it?
about that, yeah. And
Yeah.
then I was later replaced by Tom.
No, honestly, it's been a complete downgrade on Ken's part. I can sense the frustration every time I speak to him. So, where did Stu go? Why did he abandon me? So you abandoned.
So we had a mutual
I was
interest
about to say
in
you
Asian
abandoned
cinema.
yourself there. I was about to say you abandoned yourself. Then you abandoned yourself, Stu. You lost
I
your
abandoned
soul.
my online family.
You.
I just said, like, we've been friends for 10 years, and
Yeah.
this is probably the first time I've had a conversation with Tom in about 9 of those years.
Yeah, we've stayed in touch. We had a fantastic forum back in the day, which for all the listeners below the age of 30, it was like TikTok, but we communicated via words and not cancer.
Mm.
And I'm proud to say me, Stu, a few other lads from the forums are still tight. Stay good pals. Overall love of cinema, as you were saying, primarily, and still record shows for Podcast on Fire and for Films and Swearing, which is Stu's other fantastic film show, which is what he abandoned Podcast on Fire for.
Mhm.
Make
I just
your own
wanted
mind
people
up
in the
about
room
that.
beside me.
Make your mind. Make your
All
mind
right,
up.
okay, fair enough. You're in Birmingham and Ken's in Sweden, but I want you to be in the living room with me, man. Make eye contact.
can't look at the moment. Honestly,
But
my
and
eyes
then
burn.
this all kind of came together through, well, out of the pandemic.
Yeah, it has really. I mean, thanks to COVID-19, shout out to my boy Zubat. We've managed to get together weekly for, the past few months on Skype and talk absolute nonsense over a few beers. And for some reason, we thought that would make a good podcast for you to download and not listen to, as I was, said about earlier. But yeah, we both are major pissheads. One currently unemployed, one under house arrest. So still have a lot of time as lockdown eases up and the world gets back to normality to review some brewskis. This is the goals part that you were saying about earlier.
Yes,
It's coming to this now. I know you're worried about it, but it's coming. I know you're stressing about putting it out there, but don't stress because it's coming now. It's literally coming up now. I've got sidetracked on my Chang then. Sorry. What did you want me to do?
No dead air. Just keep
No,
the
we're
ball
gonna
rolling. But I've got a good
and hopefully cover a few of the beer-related topics in the upcoming weeks. So tune in for that. We're not off the rails just yet, but chugging quietly and calmly to our fiery, destructive doom. So bring your own coal maybe, and of course a few cold ones, and have a good time with a few ex-Chippendale body doubles. I just thought starting up a new podcast during the Corona outbreak. How original, honestly, on the cutting edge with that dude.
Man, my fucking Chang's been spoiled. I've just looked in the bottom of my Chang and it looks like a fruit fly has decided to help itself to the bottom of my beer.
Can't resist the Chang, the power,
And
the
obviously,
Chang, the temptation.
Yeah, I was like, I don't want to finish that drink now. I know how the tequila you get the worm, but this is a bit much. And he's a fighter. I could still see it. It's struggling. It wants out of there.
You're gonna rescue it. You don't got a teaspoon handy.
I'm just gonna leave it in like this 5% volume so it could enjoy its last final moments.
That's the only way to go out.
Light, crispy lager. But
that's the only way to go out, man. Honestly, it's good. A bit of starch to fill the system up during your heavy drinking.
You're enjoying yourself, pal.
I'm having a great time.
But I came up with a good what's it? Oh no, I can't talk over something. A good analogy for the podcast.
Okay, an analogy. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. It's like the new trainers analogy.
Oh,
it might be uncomfortable at first, but after like a few tries, like this will be your go-to show. The first couple of times you listen to it, it's got to be a wee bit rough, but soon when we're up and going, like good 3, 4, 5 episodes in, you know exactly what you're going to expect when you fucking tune in.
You're clearly a glass is half full, man, and I like that. I'll drink to that. Mine's half empty at the moment.
Me and my wee fruit fly will drink to that. Well, primarily.
You guys have a good time, honestly. Party animals over there. I can't keep up with you. So, yeah, that was kind of the origin story. If you'd like to add anything to that, did I get any details wrong?
No,
that was it. Would you like to clear up the kind of house arrest thing? I don't know whether you wanted to. Do you not want to go into that?
So, our first beer stories. We thought, yeah, that's probably a good thing to bring up. Like, what was your first beer? Remember that? Remember those days? Now, the thing is, Tom is maybe a bit of the more seasoned drinker than I am.
Although putting it kindly, I like that. It's nice.
There is a good. I'm a good 5 years older than yourself, but I just did not have a taste of drinking.
You do not sound it.
Yeah, well, you could spin it, but so I was not like a beer drinker to start off with. It was not like the go-to. Anything sweet and sugary kind of worked for me at first. You had like those creamy Bailey liqueurs or
that.
Like it was like Jack and Coke, but it was fucking just mostly Coke, to make any alcohol bearable. But
of course.
My first beer memory was getting a Miller Genuine Draft from my future father-in-law.
The beer of kings.
So, God, it must have been like, if you rewind all the way back, it must have been 20 years ago. It must have been 15.
Yeah.
Going up like on a Friday night to kind
You were
of.
15, you said.
Yes.
Yeah, I was the same. I was the same. 14 or 15, weirdly.
So going up, seeing this young lady, and
Ooh,
and
romance.
like that
This
was
is
it.
what
Like, sort of
happens when you drink Miller, guys. This is
well,
what
that
happens
was
to
it. I was like, went, oh,
romance.
meet the father. All right, hiya, good, yeah, use the way. Fair enough. Here, Stuart, help yourself to a beer. And I was like, don't show signs of weakness. And they're right. And it's like, oh, cheers, Andy. Thank you. Take the bottle. And it's like one of these things. I probably sat on the table for like 45 minutes before I had done anything with it.
Just smelling it.
And then it's like, right,
Drinking them aromas.
twist the top off, have a big glug, bonk it back down on the table. And of course, slammed it on the table a little harder than I should. And it's just like those high school science experiment volcanoes are just lager spilling all over the table. And I'm like, oh shit. Okay, fuck it, I'll just take my jumper off and like mop up all the beer.
Mm.
That's a great
That
first
sounds like a
impression.
good idea. That sounds like a very good idea. What were you wearing underneath, though? That's the question. Was it like a tank top or?
Go on. To
Or
be honest, it was probably an Iron Maiden t-shirt.
are you
Let's.
sure? Was it not that hot pink tank top that you own? Because I think you look lovely in that. I've seen that a few times. I think you look good in that.
Yeah, well,
Wow. How did it go down with the father-in-law?
the thing is, I think
What did Steve Martin say?
like he gave the beer, and then he was away out. So, but it was like that shame of, oh man, you kind of just like automatically pop the cap off a beer, sink it, look like an awesome dude, but no.
It was Millie you said it was. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, because I got the same, like pretty much exactly the same Miller story, which is weird. But my dad, I was like, yeah, same age, maybe 16 or 17. I couldn't buy beer yet. And I was like, Dad, give me some beer for this party, please. Just don't tell Mom. Just give me, 4. I'll probably waste it after 1. Just hook me up, please. I'm desperate. There's going to be some girls there. Can I just, just can I live, Father? So he hooked me up. I don't know where he got from. My dad's been in catering for years, so he gets freebies and gets bits and pieces, samples, etc. I don't know where he got this beer from. I'm certain he didn't buy it. It was I don't know, stolen from somewhere. Who knows? Fell off the back of a lorry. I don't even know. But every single can that I opened exploded. So I go
Holy shit.
trying to act cool, like girls would be drinking. I say like really watered down, JD and Coke or whatever. I was like, that's for girls. I drink beer. All right, I'm a man. Whoa, hey, jeez, anybody got a napkin?
This was clearly exciting to see me.
Are you excited to see me, or is that a Miller in your pocket? It was a Miller, yeah. And every single can exploded on me. Every single one. It tasted terrible. Like it was all like really watery. I mean, Miller's a bit watery anyway, but it was just really watery, and the fizz kind of went all out of it. I remember the next day, really, really hungover, and like one of the cans was like next to me, and it was about 6 months out of date. I was like, cheers, Dad. Cheers for the hookup. Appreciate that, man. And I'm sure
Life
to this
lesson.
day, he doesn't remember, but I'm certain it was a joke on me because my dad's that type of guy. He's a massive dick, just like me. Handed it down. So I'm sure it was, he did it on purpose. But I won't hold it against him, honestly. But yes, weird you say that. There was success after the beer spillage? Or was it all down from there?
I think I had like a couple of swigs and just thought, man, this is fucking rank. This shit is horrible.
Yeah,
and
man.
eventually I just remember just toppling it down the sink. Just
Getting rid of it. Yeah, I know a mate who used to do
he's
that.
not here,
Pour it in a
let's just
bush.
get rid of this.
Yeah, no one's seeing. Pour it away in a bush. Like pretend you're still drinking it. Like, yeah, this is great. This is straight into the next door's ivy bush. Terrible. Absolutely terrible. Yeah, I mean, so for me, it was probably a bit in at the deep end, to be honest, because it was a snake bite. Pint of half lager, half cider for those not in the know. An illegal beverage to serve in a pub these days, but completely kosher back in the day. Well, as long as you didn't have any pork scratchings with it. That was a joke. First up, I think we have 2 jokes tonight. I'll get to the second one soon. I'll get back to you later in the show with that joke. But yeah, it was with my Uncle Mike, who won't mind me saying was Warsaw's equivalent to Keith Richards back in the day. But has very much been more of a Bill Wyman type for quite a few years now. Clean and sober, but no less talented. And yeah, we still spend a lot of time together. I lived with him for a few years, which was wild. But back into the time machine. Yeah, I was about 14 or 15. I spent a lot of time with him during the summer holidays. Off from school, hanging out, just having a blast. And it was faithful J. Yeah, we smoked a J. No, it was a faithful day during that summer. At a mate's of his, if I remember, that I was first introduced to, the older Thunder and Lightning in the pint glass, and I'm almost completely certain it was the same day he took me to the sexual health clinic to stop me up with rubber johnnies. So it was a big day.
What
Indeed.
life lessons
I know, it
left
was a
and right.
big, it was a big day in me becoming the absolute beefcake I am today. But I agree with you. I mean, I would say it wasn't until my 20s that my tastes became a bit more refined and I actually discovered what I enjoyed in terms of alcohol and specifically beer. I mean, it was Carling and Glen's vodka for a good few years back there during the kind of wild days of, your late teens, early 20s. It was just anything to get pissed. But yeah, as you get a bit older, you kind of go, yeah, I like this. I don't like that so much. But yeah, you kind of your drinking changes a little bit, which I think is a good thing. I mean, hopefully hang on to my liver now, giving up the Glen's vodka. So that's always good.
Well, at least we're kind of chronicalizing your descent into destroying your
Into
liver slowly.
madness.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was the kind of start of it now. But I always, as same as you, I didn't really straight away. It was like, I just don't know what this is. But it gave me this nice, warm and fuzzy feeling inside. So I thought, I'll keep having a go on it. And I think I had about maybe 1 or 2 pints and was just absolutely battered and went home and told my mom was very tired and went to sleep for 36 hours. She wasn't worried at all. So what do you think of the Chang then? To wrap up, good.
It is
good.
a decent little. I was going to say a decent starter beverage. Like,
I think a good way to
I would
kick it off.
happily have 2 or 3 of those.
Yep.
Again, and that's it. What was it? Cheapest chips, fucking 79 pence.
79 pence, man. Yeah.
I think that's what it was at our end. So.
Yeah. So we're gonna ask Home Bargains obviously to reimburse that to us on our next shopping trip. But yeah, I like him in terms of logs go. It's nice, smooth, really smooth. Not too much of a harsh back end, and it's as you're saying, very drinkable. Goes down very well with some nice spicy food
on the bottle. Classic beer.
Classic beer. That's exactly what I was going to say. And I was about to say natural ingredients as well, just to promote them. I think it's made with rice. I was reading earlier. It didn't used to have rice in, but now it's made with rice, which is cool. Might give it that kind of smoother taste. But let's get on to this absolute beast here. What we got here, Stu? What is this? I've never had this.
Yes. Wait, you haven't had this? I'm sure you've had this.
This is probably my favorite beer of all time. So. This is a good choice. This is probably my favorite bitter, I would say. My favorite strong bitter, I would say.
Yeah, that's it. They describe it as like an English ale.
Yeah, it's a bit of an odd one because I think it's described as a golden ale, or it's promoted as a golden ale, which is a bit erroneous, as it definitely fits for me. Nicely in the kind of premium, stronger bitter category, being obviously stronger than your normal or your best bitter at a tasty 4.7%. So yeah, in terms of like your stronger bitters, this is one of my absolute favorites. So should we crack it open? Uno, dos. I don't know what comes after that, but let's say 3. I knew I shouldn't use the fork.
I forgot to say the force.
There's a little bit of that. Cheers, mate. You still working on yours? Using cheese grater over there? What's happening?
Right away, definitely a fucking darker.
Look at that, man.
Like, this is a different beast entirely.
Is it the number of the beast?
Oh. See you. I reckon if I could keep up with this.
Right, man, look at that. Yeah, I mean, as I said, like, major difference, a lot foamier, a lot darker. And for me, yeah, man, just a lot more bite, just richer, kind of creamier. Creamy is probably the wrong word. Richer, more foamier, kind of a bit more of a. There's like a sourness to it, almost like a bitterness.
I definitely could say sour because that's
Yeah.
it right away. Definitely more bitter.
Yeah.
Compared to like the last one. Obviously, our last one being lager, and this is ale.
Yeah, more
Like,
malty rather than kind of hoppy. I would say, obviously, on this end of the spectrum, but that's what I like in a beer. I like it a bit kind of darker. For me. So this is again, I mean, Chang might be a bit more, or something of its caliber might be a bit more easy to drink, like on a session.
yeah.
But again, I think in terms of taste, in terms of like, it's a full-bodied experience.
Yes.
I would say.
Little chance of me sinking 6 bottles of Trooper.
I've tried.
Oh, we did tell the audience that we were drinking Trooper, weren't we?
Oh, did we? I don't think we did. I think we got so. I think we got so excited we didn't even announce the beer. Yeah, I think we got to me pretending that I hadn't drank it before. Yeah, this is Trooper. This bad boy is one of my absolute favourites. Brewed by Robinson's, which is located in Stockport, Greater Manchester. So great. They do a ton of other stuff, mostly bitters and stouts. They've done a stout for there's a stout and a lager for Maiden as well, which are a bit more rarer. I think they would be hard to find when they're released. So this is kind of what you pretty much find now everywhere. Yes. It's become the kind of standard. They did a 666 version of this, which was a few years ago, which is pretty rare as far as I know, which falls into the strong ale category.
The volume, possibly.
Yes, funnily enough, it's 3%. No, 6.6%. They also released a lighter version at 4.1%, which is a bit more of a golden ale, kind of a bit more what they kind of advertise it as. A bit more of a kind of a blend between a bitter and a lager. It's kind of somewhere about blend, but somewhere kind of in the middle, really, between those two. But yeah, as I was saying earlier, I think the kind of golden ale tag is doesn't really kind of make sense in terms of the taste, but
because that's even on the bottle, it describes itself as a premium British beer.
Yeah.
It's like, well, what is that a category that you fall under? And, I mean, okay, maybe you're just bigging yourself up, but it's kind of like you'd have to describe it as like an English. Well, they describe it as an English ale.
Yeah, on the back it's a deep golden ale, which you could say that deep golden ale you go into kind of bitter category. But yeah, normally I would for me golden ales are again somewhere in the middle between a bitter and a lager, and this is definitely on the kind of stronger bitter side. I have had this on cask before, which was a very exciting evening. It was a tad underwhelming. But was a lovely surprise. One drunken night out a few years ago, and especially about $1.90 a pint. I helped myself to 1 or 16. I can't remember. I've never seen it somewhere in between. Yeah, never seen it on draft. But I know personally I'd enjoy it in that more frothier and colder form than on cask, which I remember was a bit watery and a bit warm. But yeah, again, I think it really, I think it helps that it's kind of, I don't know whether it helps, but it kind of is a bit better in terms of a draft ale, or would benefit from being a draft ale for me, rather than a cask ale, because it's got that kind of nice, when you crack it open, it's just, got that nice kind of foaminess to it, got a nice head to it, got a, huge head to it. I haven't had a head like that in years, honestly.
Okay.
Let's go in the outtake section again. Yeah, man. So I think I would prefer it, or I'd like to see it on draft. I don't know whether it's ever been on draft. I've never seen it myself. Just cask.
I've been told that there is pubs in Edinburgh where you kind of get like metal bars or something like a bar on Rose Street, which is kind of like one of those famous streets where there's like half a dozen big pubs, but I think they have like a metal bar in there that has Trooper on draft.
Okay.
And I just never got around to just popping my head in and having a look.
Checking it out.
But trying Trooper, obviously I am like a giant Iron Maiden fan. It's like my go-to band. I've seen them loads of times. So when there was like, right, what was it, 2013 or something? They said
Yeah, a few
on
years
the
ago now.
bottle here. Yeah,
Yeah.
that they were launching their own beer, and says,
Yeah.
well, I need to find it and have it. And then when you take a big glug of it, it's like, oh, this is different from other beers. Like,
You bought
I
stock
am
in it, right?
very much a novice when it comes to beers, and this is also like one of the reasons where it's like, hey, we're gonna do a fucking lager, like the lager logs, and it's like, well, that's good. This will be like an
That'd be a good
education in
name for
beer.
a show. That would be the Lager Logs, and like maybe like Pints of View. I know it's like a funny play on Points of View, but I think that would be good for a show. I don't know whether you could use that in some form.
Yep.
Yeah. Are you recording this?
No, I know it
Oh,
says
that's
it on
good.
the top of
That's
the
good.
screen with
So
our Skype, but ignore that.
I was scared I was going to say
Sorry.
something really stupid. I wouldn't do that.
Tell me more. What is your mother's maiden name?
There's nothing in my accounts, mate. I will tell you that. You can have a go on my overdraft if you want, though. They're happy to happy to relax that every few months. So yeah, if you want to have a go on that, mate, honestly.
But that was it. When I first kind of started trying Trooper, I was like, oh, that's a real bitter drink, because
man.
my expertise is like, okay, Bud Light, no, Bud is tolerable. That'll be my drink. I will just drink Bud. And there's always that thing where you go down the aisles in Sainsbury's, Lidl's, Aldi's, and it's just walls of fancy little cans of like craft beers, ales, IPA, stout, and like, what is all this stuff? I need
Yeah.
a real good reason to sample each and every one of these.
Oh, 100%. And now you've got the reason. Is this why you said to me about doing the show? Is it just a reason to get absolutely blasted on a Friday night?
That's a bonus.
That's
That is
a
a bonus.
Is that
Like,
that's
I want
okay.
to find like my favorite beer. It's in there somewhere on the shelf.
This is
In Lidl's
one of the
or
goals.
Asda's.
This is one of the goals. I'm gonna add
And-
this. I'm gonna add this to the goal spreadsheet now. Hold on.
That
This keyboard.
yeah, that keyboard's something else.
It probably needs a bit clean. It's a bit dusty. Probably could do with cleaning that out a little bit, but
Yeah, don't turn around and shake it.
that's fine. Do you like Comic Sans?
No, a chiller font, clearly.
Oh, okay. Clearly.
I send all my messages to you in wingdings.
I was going to say, I don't know what you've been saying for these past 10 years, but it looks good.
But
I think that gets on to going in the direction of, so Stu, where did you go from your first experience? Like, where have you sat in terms of your kind of beer taste? Has it been with lager, you kind of lighter?
I am.
Lighter
I'm
beers,
definitely
yeah.
a good fan of the lighter beers. I mean, last year or the year before, I got one of those subscription crates, like Beer 52, and I had about 18 beers shipped to me.
Heavy
and
night.
To be honest, I was like, every night I would come home, crack them in tin, take a big swig, and immediately spit it out into the sink. Go, fuck that, pour it, and like rinse and repeat. Like,
Stu's had a lockdown belly before all your okay. He's been going at this for years. Beers every night. Come on, man. This guy, hero.
Man, I really want to like be this hipster who's like enjoys his craft beers and could rattle off the name of his favorite 4 pours. But
Stu, I like you too much for you to do that, please. I'd hate to lose a friend.
But that's it. This podcast is going to be a little education in beer for me. Like,
me as well. Like, definitely
work my way through the catalogue at our local home bargains.
I was going to say, do they do a catalogue? I would like to see that. I like to check out the ladies' slippers.
The old visual catalogue.
Oh, lovely. Yeah, I do like going in. It's like being a kid in a candy shop, isn't it? Really, it's nice. And I think a lot of places. I think I was reading recently. I think Golden Ale's definitely taken the lead in terms of sales of beer. As I say, I think it's a nice kind of in the middle drink, and a lot of people are kind of going towards that in terms of their beer of choice, which I think is good. But I think and also a lot of the IPAs on the craft beers are coming in really strong. I think most supermarkets now have got a really big section of stuff to try out. But in terms of preferences, I put sexual in brackets just to make myself laugh, and I didn't laugh. It's weird. I like.
I'm going to try and steer that back in my direction. I have a little trooper story.
Oh no, really?
And I mean, I did see Bruce Dickinson when he was doing like a book promotion tour. Like done his biography a few years ago, and he did a show in Edinburgh where
The fella on the train story, because I like that one. Tell that afterwards.
that would be another occasion.
Okay.
There wasn't any beer involved with that one, so it's not really like the go-to story for this podcast. But I went saw Bruce Dickinson. He was doing it's sort of like a conversation with. He was there mostly to promote his book, read a couple chapters, wind up the crowd, have a laugh, cheerio. Coming out in like a wee funky disco ball jacket. Every copy of the book was signed, and you got a bottle of Trooper as you went in the door. It's like, oh, great. And we ended up being like in the front row because the queue system was a load of shit. So everyone was queuing up outside. We more or less kind of walked in, and then it's like, okay, you are now the queue. Like, oofed, okay. So got in, front row. Me, these two older guys, were all sitting there with a bottle of Trooper. And I've been going on with like this strange cough. Like for long periods, I would just have this cough where it would start, and that would be me for like 2 minutes.
This is pre-corona, guys. Don't stress,
Yes.
okay? I don't think you can get it through a podcast, but I haven't checked the Wikipedia in a long time.
You're safe. Don't put hand sanitizer on your
It's
mobile device.
just bird flu. Honestly, don't worry.
But,
I'm
like,
happy
man,
that you got over that. Honestly, I'm happy. I'm happy that
it's
you
happened to me like 2 or 3 times now where it felt like it was months. I would just hacking and coughing for like 2-3 minutes at a time. To the point where it looked like I was dying.
It's getting to like a medical podcast now.
I know.
Any nurses listening?
So it was the worst time. It's like, all right, no, forget about that. Just focus on the story, Stuart. Opened the bottle of Trooper, had a swig, coughing fit started, and I'm just like, no, hold it in, just don't. Oh, come on, just be cool. Cough, splutter, cough, and the guy just leans over to me. Is that first beer, son? Is that your first drink? And I was like, oh, fuck off. It was just
that moment when the head of the Iron Maiden fan club is cooler than you. That's always got to be a bit of a body blow, right?
Yeah.
Jeez, I thought you were going to say you drank it and it was like this life-healing, life-saving elixir, and you just felt amazing. You're like Grandpa Joe in Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. You just got up, you were like, woo!
Partially choked to death and looked like a twat.
Okay, that's a better option, I think, normally, to be honest. That's a good look. It's a very good look.
I think over time, I've definitely developed my taste for Trooper. Because it is clearly the more bitter drink, but it's just got a nice satisfying taste to it.
Yeah. I mean, again, there's not a lot of other bands. I mean, there's a few. I've tried. I think Motorhead have got an American Pale Ale.
All right.
I had a quick go on that like a few years ago. It was okay. Again, it's just come and gone. I haven't really had kind of a chance to, have a good few goes in it. Obviously, Troopers kind of stuck around.
Yeah.
Which is good because I really like it. I think Status Quo did a beer as well. Never have managed to have a go on that. I saw it advertised a few years ago. Never did that. And in terms of, there's a bunch of other bands, but in terms of beer, that's the only ones that I can kind of think of off the top of my head. Unless you can think of more and make me look just idiotic, because I'm not doing a good job of it myself.
Mm-hmm. I very rarely see these other bands. They're definitely always promoting something, but man, it always seems to be like wine or whiskey.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem to be beer. But we are getting close to the 45-minute mark on this episode.
Oh no, that's too long. That's far too long.
Obviously, it's one of the things we decided early on when planning this podcast was we are going to respect our listeners' time and our own time.
Why would we do that?
And not get carried away talking about ourselves.
I love getting carried away.
Our silly coughs and like, oh no, there's a fly in my drink. No.
A few months I had bird flu, whatever. I nearly died. I was on my deathbed, whatever.
Oh, you should really listen to my podcast about Kurt Russell. No.
Wasn't that about 3 years ago?
Yeah, but I still like to mention it every now and then. A
It
5-hour
was one of the
podcast.
best. That was one of your best. I was on it.
Yeah. So, any last thoughts on your drink of Trooper beer?
I think it's a fantastic beer. One of my favorite stronger bitters. Lovely. Would love to have a go on it on draft one day if it was available. Because again, I think it perfectly suits it kind of being a bit more colder and a bit more foamy, having a bit of a better head. I think it's just fantastic, well-rounded beer. Love it. Yeah, love it. And I think I would like to try the other Iron Maiden beers, but yeah, they're a bit scarce. So
No,
I think even in bottle form, I've kind of never seen one. I might have to hit up eBay and
that's it. It's almost as if you have to go. I think it's ironmaidenbeer.com.
we will do that afterwards.
And
With some
they had,
research.
from the looks of it, because from what I've seen is there's 4. So obviously you have your Trooper Lager, and then Trooper Ale, Fear of the Dark, which must be a dark ale.
Yeah, I think that Halloween special as well. I think that
Hallowed.
Yeah.
There's one called Hallowed as well.
Yeah.
And then Sun and Steel, which is
That's the stout. Yeah. No, that's a lager.
I think yes.
Red and white is the stout that I was reading
red
earlier.
and white, of course.
Yeah. And that was the one I would really be kind of interested to have a go on that one because I mean I like darker, thicker, exotic. Insert joke about my preferences to the opposite sex here. Foamier, heavier beers.
Right.
So, yeah. So I'm down with what you're saying. Really, that must have been good. I always gasp for breath every time I drink beer. It means it's good.
Right, that brief moment. Am I dying? No, we're good. Let's carry on.
This is good stuff, honestly.
How have I sunk like my beers before you? It always seems to be the other way around when we have our conversations.
Because I'm a professional, Stu. That's why it is. Okay.
Fair enough. That's it. I'm not host, so I could just sit and guzzle beer and just be the fucking moron. But
are you saying this is a change of roles or something? This is making me feel terrible. Honestly, I'm glad you're saying this is the end of the show.
So,
knock down my self-esteem. I'm gonna cry tonight.
Thoughts on the show going forward?
Oh, okay. Yeah, let's. Do you want to
what are we aiming for?
Oh, okay.
Obviously, we've purchased.
We do more.
We've purchased the domain.
Oh God,
we own.
Oh no.
The lagerlogs.com.
The's no escaping.
TheLagerlogs.com.
Oh,
the lagerlogs.com.
No, there's G in Birmingham. There's no R in the Lagerlogs. Remember that, guys. Honestly.
Yes, I did almost book the largerlogs.com. How was that not taken, by the way?
I can say that's a very different website. Good website.
Yeah, Grindr's missing out. That's some premium real estate. But
we got some more interesting topics to tap into: movies, books, festivals, tours, interviews, Stu's nudes, my last will and testimony.
Wait,
what happens if you go do in a microwave?
Rewind that.
We've got it covered. We've got some topics coming up.
Stu's news sounds better.
What did I misspell that? I wrote
news. Yes,
spell it with a new. Was there an E in that?
Yeah, your strange sexual dyslexia popped up for a minute.
Sexual dyslexia.
You just seem to find sex and everything. But okay.
That's the name of my Venga Boys cover band.
Anyway, mate.
I thought we'd be calling that a wrap. Is that it?
I think so. We're hitting almost the 50-minute mark.
Let's do it then. I mean,
so
thank everyone. Yeah, thank everyone for tuning in. Join us again next week. If you want to check out our social media, there's always some groovy shit on there. Stu, what do we have again? Name what we have.
Pictures of beer.
You
can find those pictures at the Lagerlogs on Twitter, Instagram, slapper.com on there, and then you can find it all in one place.
Wow.
Obviously, we need to give a shout out to Ginger from the Wildhearts.
Hell
for
yeah.
giving us permission to use his music. I'll Have Another, which is the Lager Logs theme music. And other than that,
Download that shit. Support my boy Ginger. He's not my boy, but I'm planning for him to be my boy through the use of his song on our show. He's probably I want him to be our boy. That's what I'm going.
right? Okay, let's
That's
tighten
what
that
I'm
up.
aiming. That's
Yep.
what I'm aiming. So
Okay.
if you've had a few with us, it's been a privilege. Enjoy your night. Make sure to message your ex at 4 a.m. And maybe a shot of Gaviscon just to wet the whistle before sleepy time. Buenos noches, party people. I'll see you soon. Say goodbye, Stu, to the people.
Take it easy. Thanks for listening.
I said goodbye. Say goodbye. You messed it up. That's fine.
Right, go and fuck off already. Yeah.
I think we got some good stuff in, man. I think that went pretty smooth. That went good, man. I think.
I mean, the pilot episode's always going to be a bit rocky.
A bit rocky. As long as it's Rocky 4, it's okay. That's my favorite.
Oh, yeah, Rocky 4. Sorry, I was thinking 5. I was like,
why would I say that? What? What do you think's wrong with me? I don't know whether you're going to hear this, Stu, but I just want to tell you that you're a strong, independent woman, and you can quit smoking. It's just all in your mind. There's nothing to do with the physical realm. It's all in your head. You're right. You okay, man? You okay?
who are you talking to?
The other thing, I just listen, just leaving you a little message.
Don't talk to the others, Stu.
I was just leaving you a little message for when you hit, listen to it back. I don't know whether you're going to hear it, but it's. I think it's important.
All right. Easter eggs for the editor.
Make sure you're doing your job.
You better fucking make me sound good.
That's going to be completely impossible, Stu. Honestly, mate. Honestly.